Hi everyone, it's Sandy. Thank you for joining me here on my channel. I have here another flipbook style project for you, and it's a pocket size booklet. Just using your paper stash, great for Happy Mail or storing some of your bits and pieces of paper, your cutter parts, ephemera pieces. You can even give this to a crafty friend and add some goodies. It's just something I wanted to create with my papers that I'm in the middle of sorting out and just using what I have. And I'm going to show you how to make one of these in this video, but I'll show you how it looks like first. It's actually easier than it looks to make one of these, and all you need are 3 pieces of your papers from your stash. I did use double-sided paper because that way you could see the different patterns on both sides. So this is how it looks like. I was able to pack a few things in here, and there is still room to add more things in here. You can add some of your packaged goodies that's not too bulky, that'll fit in here as well. A gift card, tea bag, sachets, lots of room. You just have fun adding what you like inside. So let me show you the front, and then I'll go through the booklet and then we'll do the tutorial. So what I've done here in the front is I added one of my completed embellishments that I had made. This is an embellishment using the Rosie Studio paper collection, which I can't remember what it's called, but this is just, let me just show you a couple of the other ones I've made. I think I have them here. I've got one, I've got a couple here. I think I did make a couple more, but I added it in one of my projects. But these are the other ones that I've made, and they just turned out really lovely. And it was just using their die cuts from the collection. And this is another one. So they sort of got like a banner strip look to it. And then I just layered it with all of the die cuts and ephemera pieces that's in the pack. And this is the other one. And then I just added some crochet string to the end just to sort of give it a bit of a dangle and just something fun to add to it. So this is one of the other ones, and I'm just going to pull this out just so you can see how the project looks like, so you get an idea. So I'm just going to gently pull this out. I just used some double-sided foam squares. Just trying to pull that out. So this is the other one. I do like this one. I added a little bead dangle to the end of this one. So it's sort of nice and dimensional. So I'm just going to take that out for now. But, you know, it's fun. If you've got embellishments, just add them to the front here, and that just finishes it off really nicely if you have some of your embellishments that you made. I've made a lot of embellishments in my project. I'm just going to see if I've got a couple more to show you. Now here's another one that I made a while back. So you can, that will look nice in the front there as well. So any embellishment will look fine to the front. So this here is like an envelope style closure, and then I've just used a Velcro, some Velcro dots to use this to keep it closed. So it opens up this way, and there is a side pocket. So I made it to look like an envelope, and I've got in here another one of my Polaroid shape embellishments that I also had made in one of my other videos. And this is another pocket, a double pocket style. I did a tutorial on that. Actually, it's got 3 pockets here. Let me see if I've got a little piece of, I've got this tag just to show you. So there's a pocket in there, and then you flip this up that way, and there is another pocket inside here, and then another little tuck pocket in the front for your smaller pieces of bits and pieces. And you can add that in there. So that will keep it tucked in there. So there's 3 pockets. I'll find the tutorial for this if you want to make one of these. So this just so happens to fit in here nicely. And then that's another little extra piece you could add, and it will fit in this pocket quite nicely as well. So this is a cute little Polaroid shape, and there's a little envelope that I made with a little, just pull this out here like that, and there's a little, it opens up to a little note, mini teeny micro note note card. So this is just a few ideas for you to see what you may want to put inside the pocket. So that was that fitted in there, and then that just closes up, and then we open it up. Then we open it up this way, and I have a heart-shaped punch. So I just punched out a heart shape and then just glued these two sides halfway up to create a tuck pocket for these extra tags that I've added on here. So that's just a little tag flip, and you can use these as a way to store some of your little tiny tags. So that's just a little pocket there. Then he flips open this way to another side pocket, and I've just added some of my other bits and pieces in here just so you can see that they will fit in here. This is a little mini file tab holder, 3x4 size, and then I just had a piece of paper scrap and I've placed that in there. And then just to decorate the edge of the pocket, I just added a file tab shape and then fold that in half just to decorate the edge here. You can just use your paper scraps if you don't have a tab shape die or punch. Just fold your paper in half and corner around the two corners on the fold, and then cut yourself like a little tab if you wanted to add that. And then over here is another pocket. So there's a pocket there. It is a little bit of a tight fit, but you can add maybe just one tag or one piece of note card. So I just cut this out, another paper from my stash. I just cut this out to fit inside the pocket and just added extra length to create a fold. So then that's just sort of another spot to maybe write a message here if you wanted to, or use this as a place to store a photo. So it's a bit tight, but just cut your paper to fit inside the pocket. And then I just created another file tab shape just to create a little tab, and just sort of decorates this edge as well. And it's nice too, so you can have this sort of like, when you close it, it's nice to have it peeking up here at some extra pattern. So that was the envelope, and then you go this way and there's that tuck pocket. You flip that way for a side pocket, and there's another pocket. And then over here is another tuck pocket. So there's a lot of little tuck pockets in here, and I've got a cut apart. And then I've also got here another pocket that I made using a 4x6 journaling card, and I've made this into a pocket because I've got a whole bunch of these 4x6 journaling cards, so I thought I'd make these into pockets. And then I've got here a note booklet with some copying paper or printing paper as a way to use for your notes, and then added a tassel. So I thought that would be a perfect little idea if you wanted to add a little note booklet. So this is the pocket, and then this is one of my embellishments that I'd made using my paper strip scraps. And I've got a ton of those, and I have these in my shop, so I've made a whole bunch of these, just using my strips of branding strips and just my paper strip scraps, and made them into like a paper layered wheel. And I thought that was a nice way to finish that. So that's that pocket. Then at the back is another pocket, like an angle shaped pocket, and this is another envelope I made using some vellum to create a window. I have nothing in this pocket at the moment, but I just wanted to show you that this would fit in here. So it's a nice size. So I thought that would make a perfect place to add another envelope, and that can go in there. And then I've got that goes there, and put these away. So let me show you how you can make this. It's a fun little project. Got a lot of little flip page and pockets, and let's make one of these. So all you need are 3 papers from your stash. These are all double-sided. That's all you need. So I'm going to give you the measurements first. So this is the cover on this side here. So you want to cut that paper at 5 inches by 12 inches. So it was 5 inches by 12 inches. And then another piece of your paper to make this part of the envelope pocket. And that piece you want to cut that at 3 by 5 inches. I'll put the measurements down below the video as well, so you've got that for reference. And you want another piece, and this is the part for the closure part of the pocket that continues on to this flip page. And that piece you want to cut that at 4 inches by 9.5 inches. So that's all the pieces. So I'll just quickly repeat that. So the cover is 5 inches by 12 inches. The pocket in the front is cut at 3 inches by 5 inches. And the flip page with the closure in the front, you want to cut that at 4 inches by 9.5 inches. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll make the base, or we'll make the score lines for the base. And then we'll also do the score lines for the other papers and get them all ready. So let's get my scoreboard out. So we'll start with the cover, and so this is the cover part. Just so you can see, this is going to be this part here. That's the cover as well as the back part. So this is this part. I'm going to have that facing down, and we are going to score on the 12-inch side. We're going to score at 3 3/4 inches. So 3 3/4 of an inch and 8 inches. So that's the scoring for that piece. And then we'll go ahead and we'll grab the little piece for the pocket. And on the 5-inch side, we're just going to score at 1/4 inch on 3 sides. So the 2 sides and the bottom. So let's just go here at 1/4 inch. Just going to turn it around and do the same at 1/4 inch. Go around that way and the same thing. So just the 3 sides. We'll grab the next piece. So because it's double-sided, you just decide which side you want showing as your envelope closure or your pocket closure. And in this case, I'm going to have this as the closure part. So I'm going to leave this facing up so that way you can see. So this part will be this part here. So on the 9.5 inch side, we're going to score at 2.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and 8 1/4 inch. So it was 2.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and 8 1/4 inch. So we've got all of that scored, so we don't need the scoreboard now. Let's now grab the cover. I'm going to need my paper trimmer for this part. So you can't see my score line. I'm just going to fold it down so you can probably see. So this is my score line that was scored at the 8 inch. Let me just have a look at this. So what you want to do here, because that's going to get folded that way, we're going to turn it that way. Yeah, turn it that way just so you get the idea. What we want to do here is we want to cut at an angle from here to there. So we want to cut like that. Actually, we can leave it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut, so that's the score line, you can't see it, but that's the score line. You want to go in about 1/2 inch, and you're going to angle, cut that about, and leaving it maybe about 2 inches from here. So I'm not going to use my paper trimmer. I'm going to use my scissors, just so you can see. Actually, no, I will use a trimmer. Sorry, can't see that score line. So I'm going to place this in my trimmer. If you're going to use your scissors, just cut from about here and cut up about 1/2 inch away from that fold line. So just cut up like that. I'll use a trimmer. If I can see that score line, which is there. I'm just going to angle cut. So that should do it. So that's that. And then I'll just show you how it looks like. So that is the piece I've just cut out. Okay. So you can see there's that score line, and then I've left that much. And then we'll put this piece to the side. Let's fold everything together now. So what we want to do here, we're going to fold this piece in. So now you can see that's given us that pocket there, which is this pocket. I'll take all this out so you can see. So that is that part, all right? And then we'll fold this piece over on that score line, and that will be your closure or your cover. So that's how it looks like. I'm just going to fold this in. And what I'll do now is I will glue this piece down now so we can get that part completed. So I'm just going to add glue along that score line up to there, the bottom. Okay, let's see if this glue will come out. And now we can fold that over, and that will finish off this part. Okay, so that part's done. What we can do, we can grab this piece now if you wanted to, and let's create this part. And that's going to be this extra little tuck pocket. You can place it wherever you like with this one. This is the fun part. You can place it there. I'll turn it this way so you can see. You can have it there. You can have it, let's say, this way. Oh, actually, I shouldn't have glued it down yet because we've got to trim that off. You can have it there. You can go that way. So you can have it anyway. I'm going to actually take that off first because I'm going to have to take this out. So really, it just doesn't matter. I think I've made mine a bit higher. You can see this is a bit taller, but I made mine a bit lower there, which doesn't matter. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take this out first. What I'll do is I'll add the glue here first now. I'll add glue there. And I'm going to have this that way. So I've got 2 different patterns, and then I'm going to glue down the bottom here. So I think with this one, I cut it a bit higher here. So when I cut it, I sort of cut up that high. So you just decide how you want it. So what I'll do is now I'm going to glue that down. That'll give me that tuck spot. So I'll glue the side there, and I've got that little extra piece. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to just take that off. So that's given me that sort of a shape, which doesn't really matter. It's still going to give you a tuck pocket wherever you're going to trim your angle part. Now I'll just go back and glue this down. So now we've got these 2 pockets all complete. 1 and 2. Now we'll move on to the front, which is going to be this piece. And I'll just go and grab that. I've been using the wrong papers for the tutorial. You're not going to be able to see the score line, so I should use better paper, but let's just, hopefully you can see it. And all we're going to do here is I'm going to just cut it at an angle where these two score lines cross. It just helps with the folding down the bottom. That's those two score lines. You probably already know how to do this part anyway, but if you haven't made one of these, hopefully you'll have an idea. So I've just sort of done that to those two corner sides, and then up here. And I'm just going to grab my circle punch to create a little notch at the top. So I'm just going to create a notch up here in the middle. You can go on the side if you want. Let's just do that. And now I'm just going to fold down the three sides, fold them all in, over that way. This gives you more room in your pocket to add more things. If you create these three side flaps, it gives you a little bit more space to add more bulkier paper stuff. And then that's going to get placed in the front like that. So we can glue that down. So I'll just add some glue to the three sides. And I'll just place it sort of there. I'm in the middle of doing two types of paper style crafting. I'm in the middle of doing fun papers like these with using scrapbook papers, and doing junk journaling projects with my printables, and putting together some paper kits. So I'm doing so much at the moment, and it's really exciting and fun to be working with different styles of paper crafts. Yeah, it's fun doing all different. It's nice to be able to change it up every now and then. So now we've got that. Now we can make the fun part, which is the closure and the flip page. And so we'll grab that remaining piece of paper that we scored. So we'll start folding this piece over. We'll fold this back. And then this piece here, we'll fold that towards you. And then we can go on that score line and fold this either way. It doesn't, we want to fold it in. So I'm just going to fold that in. So that is how your paper should look. So this is the part where we scored at the 2.5 inch. So when you got your paper, face it this way and then fold that back, fold that in, and then fold the middle one closed. And then what we'll do here is we're going to just bring this piece and we're going to slide that like that. And that becomes your closure. And then when you turn it this way, you have that flip page. So what I'll do here is I'm going to corner around these two corners. You don't have to do that. This just neatens it up and gives you that envelope style closure look. So we've got that. That goes in there. And when you open that up, we've got that part. And then we'll have this. So what we'll do here is I'm going to create a notch here as well. if you wanted to do that. I'm just going to do that now. Place that back in there. And now we can glue it down so it's ready. You can even corner around these two corners if you like. So what we'll do here is, bring this over. We are going to add glue along the side here, the bottom and this side. So that will give you that pocket, and then it will also secure this part. So I'm going to go back this way so you can see where we need to add the glue. We'll glue on the inside of that score line. We'll add glue to that inside of that score line and at the bottom. And along the other side. And then I'm just going to slide that back in. And then we'll bring that down. Just try and get that in the middle. Center that. And now we can just press down the part where we've glued. And that should give you that pocket. Now you've got yourself a flip page with a pocket. And we'll just glue these two sides, and that is all there is to this fun little flip project. And I have a little Velcro dot square, and if you don't have these for your closure, you can use a magnet. You can use a what would I say, like you can use some string if you wanted to, add an eyelet, or create a tab. There we go. You can create a tab. I'll just show you. So you can just grab a piece of scrap paper. You can fold that in half for your closure, and then you just glue that to the flap here, like that. Oops. Punch a hole here with your hole punch, and then you can add some string and wind it around, and then tie it to the front. So you can do that to create a closure. If you don't have these, you can use foam squares, you can use washi tape, anything you like, or you don't have to keep it as a closure. But that is this fun little pocket size flip booklet using only 3 pieces of your papers from your stash. And it's a nice interactive little fun booklet with lots of pockets and tuck pockets. So I hope this was a fun tutorial for you, and hope you have a go at making one of these, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Bye for now.